A small channel called RepresentingTruth Returns tells us that atheism is fallacious, all the while engaging in a raft of fallacies themselves, which, come on, is about as typical as it gets. But this is what happens when you have blind faith and no intellect of any kind, and you think that you're automatically right. So, here we go. This is going to be a shortish video, mostly because I'm going to cut out a large percentage of what I'm responding to, because he's just describing things that he's done in other videos, and that's really not worth commenting on. But this shows, once again, how utterly irrational the religious are, and how fallacious their thought processes are, because they don't recognize how to do intelligent thought. They just assume that they're right and everyone else is wrong, without having to actually prove that they're right in the first place. There's something severely wrong with these people. So let's get to it.
I have a challenge near the end of this video that if one can pull it off, I will remove the entire series I have done on the fairy tale of atheism.
I hate to say it, and I say this without having any idea what this challenge of his is, but I don't believe you. I've seen this kind of claim before, where someone says that if you can prove me wrong, I'll publicly renounce my beliefs or something like that. Who is the sole arbiter of whether or not they've been proven wrong? Well, the person with the vested interest in keeping their beliefs intact, of course. So, while I'm hoping that's not the case here, I'm pretty sure that it is. Besides, this is a tiny channel. Would anyone actually care if these videos got taken down? Would anyone even notice? I kinda doubt it.
Since atheists are so quick to cast doubt on the existence of God, I decided to return the favor. I picked only one topic: the fairy tale that life could arise without God, assuming aliens did not seed the planet with life.
Assuming. But I think you'll notice something as this goes on, and remember, I don't know because I haven't seen the video at the time of this writing. I'm going into this just as blind as you are, but I'm pretty sure that this person will just claim that there are problems with the non-religious side, demand that it has to prove itself, but not hold his own side accountable to do the same thing. God being necessary is the default as far as he's concerned, not a competitor to other ideas. My side is right, unless your side can jump over all of these ridiculous hurdles, but hey, my side is already waiting at the finish line because it doesn't have to run the race. And that's a fallacy. It's a flat-out argument from ignorance. Your argument is no better than any other. Back up your claims objectively, just like you expect everyone else to.
Since I knew exactly what I would argue, I gave a basic outline of what I was going to do.
But, and again, I haven't watched his other videos on this. I've seen exactly the same thing done by other apologists, but what he didn't do, I'm sure, is demonstrate that his own views are objectively true and defensible. This is a complete double standard. It's why religious apologetics are such a joke. It's a whole lot of, I'm going to poke a lot of holes in your ideas, but my ideas can't be challenged. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
The sole purpose of my first video was to introduce doubt. I cast doubt concerning the conditions of the early earth may not have been fit for life to arise as many atheists believe by chemical evolution. And here's a link.
Alright, he goes on to talk about what he's done in other videos, which, since I'm not responding to those videos, I'm just going to skip over all of it. Now, I certainly would respond to them if anyone had any real interest in it, you let me know. But trying to do it secondhand seems a little pointless to me. So, moving on.
Next, I created another video bringing increasing doubt on atheism, which was on the assembly of the potential cell. I focused on the unlikelihood that 200 or more genes amino acids not only forming, but finding their way into a cell or perfectly station all by itself. Yeah, at that point, I did not present my evidence of God, but it becomes true that many atheists are no better than believers at following a new type of argument, but they do have a preconceived idea of what is going to be presented. And here's something to that video. Then, I received my video on the potential cell coming to life. I believe I had no doubt that a chemical reaction would be able to produce life force, even if it became alive, how would it stay alive? So then in my last video, I did provide evidence of God, but I was mostly met with, oh, it's just fallacy. Though all other videos point to a creator, I believe that the final video without doubt was not fallacy and provides the best evidence of God. That video brought out a very simple point. Even if we assume that there was a person cell, the key to remember is that there was no life on Earth at the time if we were to assume the atheist position. Now you might say, okay, so if that cell or potential cells never reproduced, then it would be impossible for life to arise as we know it. The excuse of, well, science doesn't know everything the evidence someday will is a fallacy in itself. You might say, how? Since we know that all life must have amino acids, then that limits the possibilities how life could be started. Yet no matter what science may learn, it is still impossible for a chemical reaction of that time period that could reproduce hundreds of thousands of amino acids in another cell. That would be impossible without a code. There's no DNA or RNA at the time. One can claim fallacy all they want, but what I present is the greatest evidence of God, because only God will be able to pull them off.
Okay, that does away with the majority of the video, and it was filled with a whole lot of fallacious nonsense, most especially the argument from ignorance. I don't get how this works, therefore only God could do X. I'm sorry, you can't just arbitrarily declare that only God could do something without first proving that God actually exists or could even do what you want God to do. Why is that more rational than saying only invisible, intangible, universe-creating pixies could do it? Or Xenu. Xenu did it. That's what the Scientologists say anyhow. Why does a Christian imaginary friend get to be the right one without evidence? I mean, if you really want to go back and listen to what this guy said, the link, as always, is in the description. But honestly, it's just not worth listening to.
So, here is my challenge. Since the early Earth did not have life at first, then make a chain of 100 amino acids, not taken from anything living, and make a sequence of amino acids on a chain. So, without any DNA or RNA or any amino acids taken from something either that was alive or is alive, and do some type of chemical reaction that will make a copy of all 100 of those amino acids.
And just as I thought, it's a challenge that even if someone accomplished it, chances are he'd just make an excuse for why it wasn't good enough. This is exactly the same kind of thing that creationists like Henry Morris and Duane Gish used to try back in the early 80s, where they would say, do X, and if someone did X, they would respond with, well, that was scientists, not nature, proving that you have to have an intelligent mind to do it, therefore I win. This is not a genuine challenge, but if you want the truth, things like this have been demonstrable since the 70s. Go read some of the works of Dr. Sidney W. Fox, who first pioneered some of these experiments, showing how early amino acids could come about entirely through naturalistic means. Now, we've gone way beyond that today, but these people don't understand what happened 50 years ago. How are they going to figure out what we're doing on the cutting edge today? These people are not rational.
After all, there would not have been anything living on the earth. That's why I'm asking you to do this. And that should be pretty simple. If what I have presented is a fallacy, but if not, then this will remind you every day of the fallacy of atheism.
I'm sorry, but I'm just not impressed. Because beyond just showing that he doesn't understand basic biology and genetics, he's still ignoring the fact that his side has nothing at all to show for their beliefs, and he doesn't care. Because his side, at least according to him, gets an automatic pass because believing it makes him feel good. God, according to the religious, is the default position. It is automatically right if others don't impress them. And I'm sorry, but you can't get more fractally wrong than that. Even if science couldn't prove any of this stuff, even if we had no evidence of any kind that even suggested that any of this stuff was true, which of course is not the case, that doesn't make his imaginary friend one bit more likely because they have no evidence of any kind that this God of theirs is actually real. Even if, in some bizarre alternate reality, this guy could prove that all of evolutionary biology was wrong, that life could not possibly have arisen from non-life, that doesn't make his explanation for it all automatically true. The only answer rationally available to us would be, I don't know, and we'd have to go back to the drawing board. And frankly, I have no idea how these people can be so stupid as to not recognize this. You don't get to declare victory because you just prove another idea, something he has come nowhere close to doing. You only get to declare victory if you prove your ideas are factually correct. And that's something the religious don't even try to do. Why is that? Because they're morons.
Bum